Now, plastered all over the front page of the Mail today is the headline, "Outrage as Starmer removes Maggie's portrait." Yes, like several prime ministers before him, Starmer has taken immediate, decisive action over the state of Number 10's decor. John, what has been going on?
So what has been going on is that Starmer's biographer Tom Baldwin has a book to promote. And I have a certain amount of respect for that.
Yeah.
So he's been speaking at a literary festival. And he made it seems like an offhand comment. I wonder if it's a little bit more calculated than that. That he met his muse, the Prime Minister, in Number 10, in the room unofficially known as the Thatcher Room, because there's this portrait of Margaret Thatcher hanging over proceedings, and they're sat there beneath this massive picture of Margaret Thatcher. And Baldwin says, "It's a bit unsettling with her staring it down at you like that, isn't it?" And Starmer replied, "Yeah, it is." And Baldwin asked him if he would get rid of it, and the Prime Minister nodded, and now he has. And that's it. That was like, it was a 30-second exchange at a book festival in Glasgow. And that's the front page of the Mail. That's the Mail splash sort of for another day.
Yeah, it's mad.
It is. I mean, it's an amazing headline. Where is it? "Gesture of astonishingly petty vindictiveness against a political giant by PM of just 7 weeks. Outrage as Starmer removes Maggie's portrait."
I know, it is an outrage. The thing I found weird about this story is that okay, so it's a picture of Margaret Thatcher, you might expect it, but the person who commissioned it was Gordon Brown.
Yeah.
That's so odd.
I was surprised by that.
Well, this was in his look. I'm not. You don't have to be scared of me, Tories. You can elect us for a 4th term phase. Yeah. Which I think we all forgot happened because he wasn't elected for a 4th term. That's not where it went.
Yeah, it didn't work.
No, it didn't work. But in 2009, he was very much trying to go, "Hey, I like Thatcher too. You can vote for me."
But also Keir Starmer said that, didn't he? So there was a quote from him where he said, look, not that he liked Thatcher's policies, but that he thought, that Thatcher was kind of okay.
Yeah, I mean, she is. I think there's 2 things here. Okay, so you look at the people called great through history, and they're not necessarily great as in, hey, he's a great guy. Often they're kind of great as in, the original meaning of awesome. It's like, wow, huge and scary. And I think you can make an argument that Thatcher is kind of like a great figure in that sense.
Yeah.
She clearly reshaped this country and its politics in a way we are still dealing with now. But that doesn't mean you want to look at her all day.
Some of the Tories are upset.
Oh, they're very upset. There's some great quotes.
Yeah.
So Jacob Rees-Mogg, who I'd forgotten he was a sir, I'm imagining him on a horse. He described it as petty-minded. He said, "It's unbecoming of a prime minister who has a role representing the nation, not just his political faction."
I have to say, we don't want to hear from him anymore, do we?
No. He lost his seat.
So that's his job now. He's a GB News correspondent. This is his job, is to just make comments like that. That's all he does.
He's a commentator.
He's a commentator. He really, if things go really well for Jacob Rees-Mogg, he'll get on this podcast. This is the height of his aspirations now. This is all he does. It really suits him, to be fair. He's a catty, sneering man who likes to make useless comments. And I feel sorry for Starmer in this, because if Starmer were to read some of the comments made by Tory MPs, he'd be like, I probably don't even remember doing that. Yeah. He probably doesn't remember this happening. Did my biographer... the exchange was so short. The biographer saying to him, this is a bit much, isn't it? And him going, yeah. And you're going to have it taken down, and him nodding. He probably doesn't remember the picture coming down at all.
Okay, but if I could come up with a way of promoting my book that would get it on the front page of 4 different newspapers or something, I would absolutely bloody do that.
Yeah, that's true. Although we're not really talking about him, are we?
Yeah.
We're talking about Thatcher and Keir Starmer. Okay, so look, he's taken down a painting of Margaret Thatcher. That's very, obviously according to the papers, well, some papers, very bad. And then it does seem a little bit like things are turning into let's bash Keir time. This is always going to happen, but we've got no more Margaret Thatcher as a portrait and banning smoking in pubs. It's like everybody's lining up now, aren't they? So, Jacob, the smoking ban. We have talked about the smoking ban before. Yeah. It's quite odd, isn't it?
I don't get it. I don't even smoke. I don't. I used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore. But I'm on the cigarette side. I'm on the side of big cigs.
Free the cigs.
But where has all this anti-smoking stuff come from? It was something that Rishi did as well. One of his policies was to eventually phase it out. Yeah. Who wants this? Do you know what I mean? There's so much culture war stuff going on at the moment, and there's so many things that either side want. And some of this stuff, it really feeds one side, not the other. The 4-day working week thing, you can kind of tell who that's for and who it isn't. no one wants to get rid of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Like, I had to go back and I was like, was there some big health declaration that's come out from the WHO or something to say, oh no, we really have to do something? There wasn't. I don't get where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And it's not something that anyone really wants. And it's funny because like both sides of people are wound up by this. Nigel Farage and all them lot, they really want to be able to smoke. He would smoke in the toilet if he could. Do you know what I mean? Like they love smoking. Also, the kind of like other side of things, like the people who want Starmer to be a more progressive kind of left-leaning leader, they want to be able to smoke as well. Like, just let people smoke. Like, no one's complaining about this. I don't understand where the desire for this has come from.
It does seem a bit weird because essentially you can't smoke in loads of places. Like, you already can't smoke in loads of places. So if you are a smoker, there's a tiny little area, outside an airport that you could maybe smoke. That's about it anyway.
Yeah, and also like, and it's something that a couple of the papers have picked up on is this would damage pubs so much. It's already a sector who are in so much danger. Like, pubs close all the time because of rising costs. Blah 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 blah. People don't have the money to go out anymore. This is just another thing that will kill pubs, and that's again, it's another thing that no one wants. No one wants pubs to die. Everyone wants pubs to survive. Whether you're someone who wants the economy to thrive, whether you're someone who thinks that people should just be allowed to have more free time to be able to go out and stuff like that, everyone wants pubs to survive. I have no idea who this policy is for.
I think it's because the government doesn't have any money. And banning things is something you can do that doesn't really cost any money.
Right, okay. So could they... I suppose so. So the idea is that we're saving the NHS in the long term by stopping people smoking.
Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know how the maths works. It might be that if you're just kind of going to let people survive till old age and they lose their marbles, then actually it costs more money. I don't know.
Bring back cigs.
Let's not jump to conclusions.
Ban old people.
Yes.
But no, I'm not wild about this either. I did smoke. I've given up.
Yeah.
But it just feels... It's none of your bloody business.
Yeah, it's a bit
like at a certain point. Like if people want to, if people want to do this, it's up to them, isn't it?
Also, like with climate change and the weather just being like always bad now. Like we've had like 3.5 weeks of summer and it's nearly over now, and it's just going to go back to raining all the time. The only people using pubs outdoor spaces are smokers. They're not getting in anyone's way.
Yeah.
All like for the next like 10 months. Like, the outdoor spaces of pubs are just going to be, like, rainy benches with people smoking on them. Like, it's not like there's children running around getting like, coughing in that space. They're not there. I don't know. It's a really strange policy.
I think I'm right in saying at this point it's slightly kite flying. It's not that they're definitely going to do this. It's that
it's another one of these ones where they're just saying, okay, it might happen, so let's get upset.
Yeah, which is actually, to be fair... Like, that's not a terrible way of doing government, rather than just diving headlong into something to say we're considering doing this, let's have a chat about it, is probably quite a grown-up thing to do.
Yeah, so it won't happen.
Yeah, we'll see.